So yesterday, I was talking to a candidate who's now a franchisee. I placed him into a business back in 2018, and he's back in my life because he's looking for the next business. And that's awesome. On the surface, I'm like, amazing. You have 4 units of something. You're back. You're ready for growth. You came back to Kim Daly. That's amazing. All right, let's talk about what you want to do next. But in really diving into this conversation, what I very quickly realized is something that made me lay in bed last night and think, I have to make a coaching video about this conversation I had today. So he said to me, my studios are drying up. The lead flow is just not there. So I said, okay, so the lead flow is not there, so you're back talking to me to invest in a new business. Why? The long and short of it is because he doesn't want to do the work of how to solve for the problem of finding a new customer for his existing business. Now, I'm not making anybody right or wrong, but I want to tell you what happened in my own business. So I've been a franchise consultant for 22 years. Well, for the first 18 years that I was a franchise consultant, I had two major lead sources. Everybody in franchising knew me as the woman who went out and worked at outplacement agencies. That's how I built my business for 18 years. Well, in order to do that, I had to get on airplanes and travel and go host live events. Well, in March of 2020, they told me that I couldn't get on an airplane and host my live event in April. So I got into the fetal position, scared out of my mind. What was I going to do? This is how I run my business. But after thinking about it for a couple of weeks, I realized there has to be a solution to this problem. This isn't the end of my business. There are other ways for me to do what I do. I just have to think outside of my box. Just because something worked for 18 years doesn't make it wrong that now it doesn't work. In fact, the idea that it did work for 18 years is pretty freaking amazing. And I was pretty freaking blessed. I think anybody would say that, right? Business isn't designed to be stagnant and stale. Life isn't designed to be stagnant and stale. Life is ever changing. I mean, every cell in our body is going through millions of chemical reactions every single second to change our body, to keep our body alive. Well, is it not also true that our businesses are constantly changing? Our customers are constantly changing. The economy is constantly changing. Everything is constantly changing. And if we are stuck in our position of what worked for 18 years, or in this guy's case, what worked for 4 years that now isn't working. And so instead of doing the hard work of thinking, I'm just going to go buy another business. Is that really the answer? I don't think so. So for me, I climbed out of the fetal position because I said to myself, okay, there's got to be a solution to this problem. Well, the solution was to turn on the camera and launch a YouTube channel. And I'm just going to tell you, I tell everybody in my personal circle, I think God is laughing at Kim Daly so hard. He's like, girl, it took a global pandemic to get you where I always wanted you to be. I believe that YouTube is the future of my business. It's the greatest adaptation that ever happened. Would I have gotten there eventually? I'd like to think so, but I don't know, because if I had just been able to get on the airplane in April of 2020 and I wasn't forced to a point where I couldn't run my business the way I had run it for the first 18 years, would I have been forced to think and come up with something better? A solution that was an adaptation to a problem that's become the greatest thing that ever happened in Kim Daly's life, launching this YouTube channel, being able to share everything I know with you and so many other millions of people over the last 4 years, right? And that's why you're watching this video, because you're thinking, do I want Kim Daly to help me find my franchise opportunity? I want you to lean into what I'm saying. Change is not bad. Change is good. Change is necessary. Now, What this franchisee said to me was, the franchisor hasn't thought a new thought in forever. Something like that. Now, is it the franchisor's job to think for you? This is the whole point of my YouTube channel. This is the whole point that I try to make every single day when I'm standing up for franchising, because there's too much ownership in franchising, even among franchisees that I would say are successful. This guy has a problem. He needs and wants more customers. And he said to me, they haven't thought a new thought. I wanted to say to him, have you thought a new thought? Now, my reaction to this conversation was to immediately jump to the solution, because I'm a solution-oriented person and I love the challenge of trying to figure out how to find new customers. Because listen, that's what owning a business is all about. For every single person out there who's like, I don't want to sell anything, I don't want to prospect, I don't want to network, then don't own a business. Because owning a business is about finding people who want what you have. And sometimes you have to get creative and create the market. That's what I did back in 2020. Nobody else had a YouTube channel and franchising back then. Today, many people do. And you know what? Today, many people that do what I do congratulate me on the success of my business, because they marvel at what I've done because I innovated what we all do. So you can be that franchisee too. It doesn't take anything more than a little bit of thinking outside of the box. Instead of looking at what you thought you were going to get from a franchisor, you go inside of yourself and you find a creative idea and you set out to see, would this work? Could this work? There are so many things that franchisees are waiting on franchisors to do for them. But is it really the franchisor's job to do for you what you said you wanted to do when you wanted to own a business, which is own the business? If every business had all the customers it needed and wanted, no business would ever fail. Having enough customers is the thing. When I went from average performing to history making in 1 year, growing my revenue by 350% in 12 months, something absolutely miraculous that made me a legend in what I do and a history maker for my family and mostly for myself. The one thing I figured out, or I thought about, from my 8th year to my 9th year was this very fact. What's the limiting factor to me helping more people? Having more people to talk to every day. Well, Kim, how are you going to solve for that problem? The first time I asked myself that question, I had this much skill. But I was determined, because I'm a business owner and I'm one who owns it. And so I put my head down, I came up with a little plan, and I just started taking daily action on the plan. There are 2 things that drive our lives forward. Order, so having a thought that you can put into a creative idea, and action. And that's really it. I came up with an idea, and I had order in my mind. Okay, I could do this. I don't know if it's going to work. And I took action. And this is why if you're afraid of failure, you also shouldn't own a business, because not every idea you have is the idea. But if you start with the idea that you have and you're able to work through it and flush it out because you hit the no, because it doesn't work, but you stay in the game because you're committed, because you have the will and the desire to succeed, that's where that first idea becomes a second idea, becomes a third idea. And it may be your 1,000th idea that actually is the one that is so refined and perfect that it's the answer to every problem you've ever had. But most people quit. They quit at the first no or the second no. This isn't working. I thought I bought a franchise. The franchisor is supposed to be doing the thinking for me. This is why there are so many unhappy, average performing franchisees in the franchise industry. And I'm not saying this judgmentally. I was you. If you're watching this and you know this is you, I was you for 8 years, but I got order in my mind. I dared to take action and I committed myself to figuring it out. And boy, did I ever figure it out. By the end of that year, what made me a history maker wasn't because I made a bunch of money. That was the result. What made me a history maker was I had solved the lead flow problem. I went from no skill to the highest skill in the industry of what I do in 12 months. The result of that was I helped a lot of people, and the result of that was Kim Daly made a lot of money. So we're saying so many things here, but the fundamental thing I want you to hear from this video is you want to own a business. The franchise helps you mitigate the startup risks, buy down the learning curve, partner yourself with people. But here's the thing, the other people, if they don't have a better result than you, do not form a little group. Because this guy said, oh, we all got together from all over the country and, we had a powwow. A powwow about what? Because he was on the phone with me after a weekend in a powwow with those people and basically saying to me, the franchisor let him down. So was that powwow with his peers inside the franchise worth anything? I don't really know because he didn't tell me until the end and I didn't have time to go into what they discussed, but he didn't have any ideas about how to generate more leads. But in 5 minutes after he told me that was his problem, I gave him 3 solid ideas. 3 very, very, very good ideas. Because I'm a solution-oriented person, because finding customers is what made me a history maker. And this is the greatest passion that I have. This is business ownership. When I say I'm completely unemployable, I will always be self-employed, it's because I understand how to generate leads. No matter what I do, I'm going to be able to figure out how to find the customers that I want. Now, is it going to come easy? Not always. But will I do it? You better believe it. I 100% have the confidence, and not just because I did it before. That definitely helps, but I had to have a first time when I hadn't done it before. I had a confidence in myself. Most importantly, I had a will. I had a will to figure it out and be successful. So if you're out there and you think, I'm going to buy a franchise because it's going to be easy and all I have to do is plug and play and I never have to think, please do not buy a franchise. Save yourself the money, save our industry the failure, and go do something else. But if this video inspires you to truth that's inside of you, that's saying, yes, I want to own a business and I want to be partnered with other people and I want support, but I don't expect them to do it all for me because that's just too good to be true. I want to bring my own ideas. I want to bring solutions that when they work, make me feel unstoppable. That's the feeling you want when you want to call yourself a business owner. It's not money in the bank. Again, that's the effect. What you're actually after when you say, I want to own a business is control. Would you say that I'm in control? I am 100% in control. Now, I'm not in control of everything. Things go wrong in my business all the time. There are things in my business that are never mine to control. In fact, in the business I'm in, most of what I do is uncontrolled by me. So if you have a business where you can control a lot of the elements, more power to you. But I'm telling you, there are things that are not yours to control, and you don't have to control them if you are controlling the things that are yours to control. And when you show up to control the things that are yours to control, you're going to have that unstoppable confidence inside of you. And when you live from a place like that, that's going to be the feeling that the day you signed your franchise agreement, you were looking for, you were hoping for, you were expecting to get. But here's the thing. You didn't get it because you bought a franchise. You got it because you showed up to think, to work your business, to show up for your dreams. You found the determination and the discipline in yourself to focus your attention, to find an idea, and then to act on it, and then to improve that idea. That's business ownership, even in a franchise.